Alright, so hi everyone. Thank you as always to my amazing Patreon patrons. Without you guys, this literally wouldn't be possible, and I got some new beans. Thank you so much for all the support. If you guys didn't know, I have a Patreon sticker club. I also do physical rewards for my top tier patrons. And even the smaller patrons, you get access to early things that other people don't get to see, behind the scenes stuff, and yada yada yada. Is that shameless plug out of the way? Yes, good. I hope so. All right, that's all I'm gonna pretty much do for this video because this video is sponsored by moi. Not really, but I have to do that little shill because that's a perk of being a patron. But it's also this is a small business Q&A. This is what I've learned running my Etsy shop for over a year consistently, and ups and downs and like questions I've slowly gathered just over the time. We got the good old paper ASMR here, and I am, boy howdy, I am in a great mood. I got amazing news today. I can't talk about it, but at the time of recording this, and I'm like, you know what? I got this good news. I got my notes. I'm good to go. Let's go. So it's also why I kind of say it's kind of a shameless plug without really meaning to, because again, I have an Etsy and I sell things, and that's how I've learned to do this and that, and those are in the description down below. There we go. Okay, done shilling. Now let's get into it. So these are questions I've gathered from you guys, from emails, DMs, random questions here and there, comments, and a couple of others that I saw in other Q&A videos from other artists, because I love supporting people who do what I do. And so I was like, ooh, these are some good ones. So let's just get into it. So the first one I have, which is the most basic one: how much money do you make? How do you do this? What's going on? Now, because of my agreement with my YouTube channel and my Google AdSense account, I literally cannot tell you how much I make on Google. I cannot tell you that specific number. It's in the rules. It's why a lot of people can't do that. I can say that YouTube, unless it's in peak ad months, as in, October, November, and December, I barely make threshold on YouTube, so I will let do the math on your own. And some months I don't even make threshold when I do good on videos, because that's how this platform works. But I make all of my money in my other forms of income, and that being said, if I lived in literally almost any other state in America, I would be able to fully afford myself if I was a single income household. I would not be able to afford, like, my husband's needs and things like that. But if things ever happened, or with my second partner, literally, if I lived in any other state, I'd be able to afford comfortable rent, comfortable food, and my bills paid in savings. So that should give you guys a basic idea with that. But I live in California, so I make paupers pay compared to California. But that being said, I make more than I would working, a minimum wage job somewhere, which is not shaming minimum wage jobs. It's just the fact of life, which is why I would love to leave this state someday, but I can't. So that's what I do, and the reason why I have that money, and it does fluctuate, is because I have multiple forms of income. I have my online store, I have freelance work, I have Twitch, I have YouTube, I have Patreon, I have PayPal, I have my Redbubble, I have other things that I dip my toe in from time to time that actually don't have to do with art, but, girls gotta do what a girl's gotta do. And so that's how much I make. And the only reason I'm able to do this, which is very important, is I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time. I have been doing this full time since about 2014, I believe. Anywhere between 2014 and 2015. I've done a couple of odd jobs here and there, but they were never enough to pay my bills. So that should also give you some retrospective things I've been doing. While I haven't been doing YouTube or Twitch or things like that as long, I have been just, being a self-employed person for around that time frame. And now, yeah, so that's all I can say about that. Is it took a lot of work, a lot of hard things, a lot of learning how to network in social media, which are other questions I have in here, and so we'll just get into that. So pretty much how much I make is I literally make enough that if I were to live in any other state, for the most part, I'd be able to fully live on my own and be comfortable. So just that's what I gotta say about that. Number two, you always talk about taxes. How do you do taxes? Now, for legal reasons, my lawyer has said this. I am not an accountant. I am not a tax person. In fact, I pay for a tax person, but I can give you some pointers that she has given me and some other things that people have given me to that. So I cannot give tax advice, but I live in Southern California where I pay a lot of taxes and I hate it because I hate living here. But the best thing I could do and say is keep your receipts for everything business related. This is very important. Business related. You also can knock off some of your rent and or mortgage payment, but it is some, not the entirety of. That's a very, very important distinction because you see a lot of people who do family vlogs trying to knock off more than they can chew, and the IRS does not like that. Also, I live in America, so I cannot give advice for tax things for other countries. But from what I understand, most other first world countries, you guys just get a bill at the end of the year and you just pay it. So, I don't know why we don't do that here, but again, I live in America. And so, with that being said, I make sure I just pay a tax person. It's always been easier that way. Even before I was married and I shared my taxes with my husband, and with our current partner, we don't share income at all. It was easier that I just paid for it myself, but my husband financially makes more money than me. And so, because of that, we end up just doing our taxes together. If and when the days to come that I end up making more than him or my partner, then, it would be a very different circumstance. But as of right now, financially, he makes more than I do. So we just do our taxes together. It is easier that way. Not everybody can do that. So the best thing I can say is keep receipts for everything that you have done. That includes shipping labels. That includes getting supplies for your thing. Even little things you wouldn't think to write off, you could write off, such as if you bought some things for your pen, if you bought like a tablet case, you bought yourself a new keyboard, backup hard drive. Those are all things you can write off because they are being used for your business. Printer ink, labels, yada, yada, yada. Keep your receipts. Also, I would understand, I know people don't like doing this, but it's kind of the perk of being self-employed, or find someone who's willing to do it for you that you can really trust. Make spreadsheets, keep stuff. I usually like to go through about once a month, and I just fill out my expenses of the month, so that way when it comes to tax season that following year, I don't freak out or stress. I know some people, when they make over a certain amount of money, it's easier just to do it quarterly. I do not make that amount, so I just do it at the end of the year. Or because the new tax law that California passed, I do it, by January 31st, which I did, which sucked. Didn't like that. But that's just kind of how it is. Another thing is, if that all stresses you out, just bite the bullet and pay a tax person. It's something I will always say. If you make enough money to pay for taxes, then your tax person can handle it for you. Pay the extra $100-$200. It will be worth it. Trust me. Better that than, getting screwed over later on in life trying to do it yourself on TurboTax. Because being self-employed is not the same as when you get a W-2 in the mail and you can just fill it out. So that's what I have to say about that. But again, legally, I am not a tax person. This is just the advice that's been given to moi. So now here's the next one. Number 3. How do you get paid? Now, by that, I know what they're saying. What they're saying is, how do you make money after selling your business and everything? And it's relatively simple. You put the price of the product in the product, and then you do it by 2. That's the most basic thing I do. Sometimes you want to go above that, like with things like charms, because you have to pay for shipping and things like that. But you end up putting the fees for things into the price of the product, so that way people are thinking it is free shipping, but you as the artist are not being screwed over, because things like shipping can and will screw artists over. And it's why for certain things I can get away with doing letter mail, and other things are where, no, I have to get a shipping label. And when the case where it's like I have to get a shipping label, usually the products are enough to where the price of the shipping label doesn't hurt my overall income, and I still make a profit. But the overall profit from things isn't as big as people think. It's from the consistent buying. When it comes from your shop, because the majority main thing in my shop currently is stickers. I'm putting charms in there, I'm putting pins in there, and buttons. I'm slowly adding more. But as the time is, my biggest thing is stickers and, currently mini prints and misprints. And so, with that being said, I just simply put the price of the product in there. I times it by 2 at a minimum, because then when I do a sale, I'm still making at least somewhat of a profit. And then, after that's paid for, I then take 20% out for taxes / savings. I cut out for what it is to replace said item. And then that's the money I'm left over with at the end of the day. And so that's how I get paid. And it sounds like it can be really aggravating and stressful. And it is. It's why I usually end up paying myself at the end of the month or the start of the month. So that way I have all my bills paid, I have everything else done. I do the math at the end of just the total of what I've made because all of my revenues are different and inconsistent to when I'm like, all right, that's just how much I made. This is how much goes to taxes, and this is how much goes to savings. That's just me. Not everybody is like that. And my business is still, in the grand scheme of things, very small, but not so small that it's not making a big difference. It's just that when some shops or, like, artists who run things have bigger businesses and bigger platforms, usually it's easier for them to get like separate bank accounts, become LLCs, all that jazz, all that good business jargon, and they can pay themselves through that way because they can now have a separate bank account that is for said business and then get paid through that business. I am nowhere near that, and I probably won't be for a while. But when that time does come, I will eventually go into that. And obviously, when that time comes, and I learn more about it, I'll be able to make a updated video talking about that with you guys. But as of right now, I just use Etsy and spreadsheets and a lot of emails and a lot of printing out receipts. So that way I can have physical things that I can look at, like my paper ASMR here. And so yeah, that's how you get paid. It's a very simplified, easy version of that, but that's because I'm at 11 minutes into this video currently, and I got a lot of questions to go. And I'm realizing now, while I'm doing this, that some of these might be their own videos. So there are, honestly, with almost any question I have here, I could go into a whole in-depth video about that. So here's where you guys come in. This isn't just for the algorithm. If there's something you genuinely want, like a single video dedicated towards, please put it in the comments down below, and I will look back at those in like about a week or two, and I will look at the ones that the most people wanted or upvoted, and I'll make them into videos because that way I'll know what to put my time into for that reason. Yeah, and we can make this will be a whole nother series on here because I like giving advice and helping people out so people don't make the same mistakes that I did. So, yeah, there's that. So let's go to number 4. What do you use for your Etsy shop? Okay, so this is a very, like, basic question. So, what I use for my Etsy is I use a Canon Pixma printer. I use my brother's Scan and Cut 2. But when that eventually dies, because I don't think they make that model anymore, I will be getting a Silhouette Cameo. I already announced that. So, because all my friends have a Silhouette Cameo. But currently I use a brother's Scan and Cut 2. I've had it since like 2018, I think. And because of that, it's been great for me. For all of my stickers that I print at home, I use onlinelabels.com. None of this is sponsored. This is all stuff I put my own money into. For envelopes, stamps, and other things like that, I wait for coupons and sales on other websites or other things in store. If you go on to USPS.com or stamps.com, you can actually get a lot of stamps mailed to you for a relative price if you don't want to go to the post office, if you're doing just like small letter mail like I do with a lot of my stickers. And then I literally just went to the Googs and I went black bubble mailer bulk. And I found the best price one that I wanted for the size I wanted, and I just bought them that way. So there are all the things. Quick Rapid Succession that I use for my shop and my current business. I do all of my art currently on an iPad Pro 10.5 inch. It's a refurbished one. When that one also eventually makes its end, I love you, don't die. I will be upgrading to a big Chongus iPad. I love the iPad, and I do think I will be moving to like a 12-inch, at least 11, if not the 12-inch one, and I want to get like the really good chunky hard drive space for it, because that is where I do almost all of my art, and then eventually I would like to upgrade my PC. But currently I use a ROG Zephyrus. I don't remember the numbers. I got this back when the Panini started with our tax money that came out, because I just needed a new computer anyway. But I do eventually want to upgrade to a custom desktop. But I am a stoopy, so I will have my friends help me design that for me, because I don't know how to make a desktop. But that's everything I currently use for all of my stuff. Number 5? Yeah. All right, here we go. Number 5. What are the best steps to starting? So here is the best advice I've ever read in a book. Again, not sponsored. This is a book I paid for and I helped kickstart. How to Draw Webcomics by the Starfish Face, or Star Picard, I think is how you say her last name. She has a webcomic called Cast Off. I really support it. I pay for her Patreon. I love her streams. In her How to Draw Webcomics comic, because I'm also working on a webcomic, she put in a very good analogy of her burrito money when she first started getting paid, where she was like, I was making enough money off of my webcomic and doing things here and there that I was able to go get a fancy burrito like once a week. And that is honestly the best way I can think to start it. And this is something I've always said on my channel, and I full wholeheartedly support, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but it's just kind of how the world works, is do not invest a crap ton of money when you don't have the following or the reach or the skill level to do so. Get a part-time job, get a job somewhere, work your way up, work to networking, work to buying things, work to investing in your shop. And then when you start to make money, you're not going to make a lot at first. I definitely didn't. You put that money aside and have that be your burrito money. Have that be your, oh, you know what would be great? I want to go get some sushi right now. Or, ooh, I really want to get that new video game, or yada, yada, yada. Something small, something simple, and something fun. So that way you can feel accomplished with it. But that way you're not investing thousands into a business when you're only making about a couple hundred back when you start out. Because that is a very, very quick way to crash and burn. And I do not support that whatsoever. So get yourself a burrito fund is pretty much what I'm saying when you start out. So, number 6. Did you have a follower goal before opening your shop and or doing things? Yes, I did. But would I do it again? No, not in a million years. Not with websites like TikTok and Twitter and things like that. And amazing ways for artists to help support artists and platforms to help push other people up. No, I would not have waited like I did. It's one of the things that I really regret is not starting a shop sooner, not having more confidence in my art sooner. But you can't change the past. So I would recommend, same with the burrito fund. You want to make a shop? Make a shop. Making an Etsy is free. Making a store envy, I think at least making a store envy is free. I don't use store envy, I use Etsy. Making a Ko-fi, free. It's all free just to make it. Granted, listings, at least on Etsy, are like anywhere between 20 or 30 cents a listing. So I mean, there's that. But if you literally can't invest like a couple cents into a thing, then you shouldn't be selling a store. Make the designs, make the things, make the art, and then just put it out there. You'll never know what'll happen, and that way you can really get started. I started my Etsy with how it is now off of doing a Kickstarter, or not a Kickstarter, doing pre-orders for 2 stickers, and they were D&D related ones because I love D&D ones, and these are still in my shop. But I slowly took the time and money and invested in things, and even now, with the following I have, there are designs and things I do that don't make money back. That's just how it is. It's a fact of life. Sometimes I'll do something, I'll be really proud of it, and I will barely make the money back for literally the ink and the print and the shipping label for it. But you know what? That's life sometimes. And so that's something that I have later on in this list that we will get into. Number 7. You ship internationally? How? Really easy. Etsy pays the VAT. Etsy pays the VAT and the shipping for half the time when I have to sell things like charms and things like that. I obviously didn't invent shipping costs, but there are many cases, especially for international orders, where I don't control how the world works. I wish I did. I feel like something as simple as shipping should be an easy flat rate across the board, but it's not. And so because of that, I cannot offer free shipping for physical goods because then will be literally burning money and giving things away for free. And I know there are also a lot of international artists out there that I love and support and I want to get things from. And I, like many of my international buyers, have to either get something really, really small where the shipping is free because I know it's in the letter mail and there is a chance it might get lost, or I save and I bulk up and I pay for something that warrants the shipping. But Etsy already pays for it. They get the label for it. I know you could use like stamps.com. I also know Store Envy does the same thing. And with things like VAT is so confusing to me. And I feel so bad for people who have to use VAT and get VAT collected. But Etsy also just automatically collects it for you. I print out or write out on the envelope what it is, or on the package if it's a physical good. Send it off and my job is done. It is just the easiest way to do that. But for some people who don't want to mess with that, the simple answer is you don't ship internationally. But I do because I don't think that's fair not to. Especially because I have a lot of friends who are international and I have a lot of patrons who are international. And so I feel like I'm really cutting off from my audience if I'm just like, haha, just America, baby, just the stars and stripes. Because half the time I don't even like this place. So Yeah, there's that. That's why I do that. But that's also why a lot of people probably don't ship internationally. Or you'll see a lot of, UK or European based shops that sadly don't ship internationally because they can't afford it. So, because that's just how the post is. It sucks, but we can't control it. And we don't live in a beautiful society where people could just create art and enjoy goods. I would love to, but that's not the world we live in. We live in a capitalist society. So, yeah. Why don't we get to the next question? Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, number 8. How do you promo your art? Okay, this one is the hardest one, and I am not the best at it. So, I've talked about this time and time again. I love DeviantArt. I do. I wish more people did. But I am not bad. I am just as bad at DeviantArt as I am with any other platform because I've gotten used to the beautiful features that I could do, such as which I can do with my DeviantArt core, and I do from time to time. But there is something so nice about Twitter and Instagram and Patreon being able just to upload it straight from my device and not have to worry about a thing and do a thing. And I know I could technically do that with DA too, but it's somehow harder and I don't know how to describe it. So I mostly use my DA as a portfolio dumping site. Or when I want to do lore dumps and things, or when I eventually want to do my comic and stuff, I need to find a hosting site that's okay with slight, not safe for work stuff or spicy stuff, because while it's not a full-on 18 plus comic, it does have adult humor in it, and I am currently at a place where I'm looking into also domains and junk like that. But yeah, there are not a lot of webtoon or webcomic spaces that are down with anything that's above PG-13, and even then they're iffy on the PG-13 label, and that is definitely not what my thing is. So you gotta deal with something like that. So when it comes to promoting your stuff, what I like doing is, and I'll try to put a picture in here if I don't have a little clip, I like to bullet journal. It helps keep me accountable. It doesn't always work, but what I like doing is I make a little calendar in my bullet journal, and I will literally have a little calendar that says YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, mostly those 3. The others are I'm pretty okay with. But and then whenever I do something or I pre-do something, I use the draft feature, I do the schedule feature, I look up days in advance when things are happening. I'm trying to do better with my Twitter, where I'm going back and posting at least once a day, where on my art Twitter, it's something even if it's a whip, or if I'm reposting something I'm proud of, so that way the algorithm is there, because we all artists must feed the beautiful algorithm gods. And that's literally how I do it, because there are so many, and this is my job. It is pretty much its own full-time job in itself. But if you can't do that, if you have, school or work or other things you need to do, the drafts for TikTok and the schedule feature for Twitter and other things are just, they're free, they're beautiful, and more people should use them. I also know there are websites, I literally can't think of any right now, but I know there are websites that you can sign up for where you can log into your thing and it'll pre-schedule posts for you. So there's also that to help you out. So that way, at least you have a little bit of a notion when you are posting consistently to help boost your algorithm to promote your art and promote your things. And also jumping on trends, Whip Wednesday on TikTok, or, artists supporting artists, or the multitudes of hashtags when they have portfolio day, small business day, yada 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 on Twitter and Instagram. And just trust me, a lot of people with small followings might not think those things work. They do. They work tremendously. And it is great, but the best way to do that is I set physical alarms and rewards and things and little notes for myself, so that way I have to look at it instead of an alarm on my phone that I could potentially forget. And even then, I'm not perfect, because sometimes mama needs a break. I got joint issues and other things. I also have health issues. So sometimes when I can't make art, I'm just here internalizing that I'm oh God, I could probably be doing something else and working on things to do that. And so that's what I do with that, is I try to outdo myself, but in a healthy way. I'm not as toxic as I was about it. I've learned a lot that sometimes life is what it is, but that's how I promo my art. I jump on hashtags, I do things like that, and I post as consistently as I can. So, number 9. Why do you print at home? It's a very basic one. Why don't I offset print everything like everyone else does? The simple answer is it saves money. The short answer is it doesn't always sell. So here's what I mean. So, not too long ago, because I sell original art and fan art, we are not having that debate right now. Feel free to have it in the comments if you want, but like, also, I guess go off on like 90% of all artists on TikTok and Twitter then, or literally anyone who sells at a convention, unless they are really big and they only have original art. So like, that's we're not gonna have that debate here or there, but I am into this game. I don't know if you know this. It's called Identity 5. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I draw a lot of art from it from time to time and things. And so they were doing an event where they were doing a Death Note event. And I was like, oh man, you know what I haven't watched in years? Death Note. I love Death Note. And so after watching it, I was like, I want to draw the characters. I want to do stuff. I haven't done that in a long time, and I have my stuff. So I did the Death Note characters. I made the chibis. I currently have L, Light, and Misa. I might do a couple others, but it is way list on way list. It is bottom on my list of things that I want to do. And so, with that being said, I got my first two pre-orders offset printed. I love those. I offset print when I can, but I also offset print with designs that I want to have a higher quality, thicker vinyl, and I usually charge more for those than my basic ones that I print at home. So, but because I can print at home, it's a profit. The only thing I'm out is my time. An average sheet costs me about $1, and I can slap anywhere between 6 or 7 on a sheet. So I factor in dollar plus ink plus time cutting out plus time art, and then that's how I can afford to do my stickers for so cheap. And they don't sell very well in my shop. I think in total of my Death Note set, I maybe sold 10, like individually. And so, with that being said, that number might be like, oh my god, that's a big number. It's really not. And I'm not saying that to be rude. If I were to offset print those, where I had my L, my Light, and my Misa, that alone easily, even if I got them on sale, would have been almost $100. I have nowhere near made those with those designs, but because I can offset print them, I can do them at my own pace. I can print out designs that, maybe don't sell that well, but I like, and other people like, without breaking the bank. And so that's why I like printing at home, is that instance. But then I'll have some things that are just hot ticket commodities where I'm like, okay, I don't have the time to print them at home anymore because I'm putting almost one of these in every order I get. And so with those, I'm slowly offset printing those so I can have a nice stack of those because the cost is there. I'm making the cost back to afford to offset print, so I'm not wasting my time cutting out these designs, and I can spend my time on my projects, my other freelance, and my other shop. Excuse me, and my other, designs and things for my shop. So that's why I choose to print at home, and that's why a lot of people start by printing at home. I also, I know a lot of people don't do this, but it's something I did. I did not factor the cost of my sticker cutter or my printer into any of my prices. I do believe with what I've made on my shop now and of what I've made back in 2021, I did easily pay back for the printer. I did easily pay back for that. But I ended up slowly investing over time. With the printer, my husband and I needed a printer anyway, so we thought let's get a nice one so I could make a business out of it. And it's also a tax write-off because it was a business expense. And so I was able to get it. I was able to use money I had saved up for it and money we had gotten from the stimulus because I live in America, so it's not like the stimulus could have actually helped us with anything like bills. So we used it to invest. And so with that, I was able to pay for it. My sticker cutter, after doing my very first convention ever, I used all of my money I made from it profit-wise, and I bought myself that. I've slowly invested over time, so that way I don't put those in my prices. Pretty much, I save for it in other ways, I pay for it, and then I don't think about it. So that's why I like doing a lot of stuff at home where I can, but obviously when the supply and the demand gets higher, then you have to offset print, you have to get things done. Another good example is I love charms, but I literally do not have the means to make my own charms, so I have to get those offset printed. And when doing that, I like to do things like pre-orders or polls so I can guess on what designs will sell well. And then when there's some I want to still make, but I want to make them for myself, I use websites like Vogue Race where I can actually put the specific quantity of ones I want in it over the previous people that I used to use. So there's that. Where's the next one? Oh yeah, okay, I have that. Here we go. Oh nope, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I'm bad with my little flippies. So I have 3 questions left, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So number 10, What do you think is the best investment? Now, there is no one best investment. It depends on what you want to do. I noticed that most of my audience, like myself, we don't have a lot of money. And so because of that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to invest in cheaper things. And my rule of thumb has and always will be, would I buy that? Would I buy that? It's something I've said constantly on this channel, on my platform. So when it comes to commissions, would I pay for that? Would I do that? If the answer is yes, that's fair. If the answer is no, then you gotta get a little bit of a reality check. And so, things that I think are good to invest in is business cards. You don't need to go out and get a moo set of business cards right away if you're just starting out. You can go on Vistaprint. I still use Vistaprint. You can get very cheap, very discounted things. They have coupon codes all the time. Again, nothing in this video is sponsored besides my own stuff. This is all stuff I've put money into. No one's paying me to talk about this, but get business cards. You might think it's a throwaway thing, and for some people it is, but for others, it is a lifesaver. It is great for tractions. It's great for showing to people. I know Vistaprint has started doing this thing with QR codes. I've been doing it on my most recent business cards where I have a QR code on top of my socials where you can find me. So that way someone with a phone can just click it. And I've seen people at conventions have like a little poster board thing with a QR code on it over business cards. And I can tell you right now, from what I've witnessed and what I've experienced with cons and what my friends have, more people are willing to get traction from business cards than they are those signs. I'm not saying that's for everybody. That's just from what I've seen. So I would say invest in some nice, decent business cards with your art on them. Definitely have your socials and an email there. As well as, you don't have to, but I do. I have my legal name on it. Not my full legal name, but my legal name, because I've talked about it online enough. And so that way when I'm doing freelance work, people have my branding name, which is TwistedDisaster, and then they have, me, Michelle Marquez, as well. But yeah, I think that's really good. As for packaging, you don't have to go all out and go super fancy TikTok-y with your packaging, but you can invest here and there. Again, you can get stuff in bulk. You can get stuff at discounts. You can get stuff at stores. You can coupon. You can find things like that. I would say invest where you can. And with your packaging, just remember that you don't want to break the bank. So I would recommend starting small. You can get a decent pack of bubble mailers that are like 100 bubble mailers for about I don't know, 30, $40. And that might sound like a lot, but those are pretty big sized. Like recently I bought a pack of, I think they're 4x6s. And I was able to get a pack of 100 of them for $17. And so that way I'm okay, that's easy. I don't have to think about that. And I have those now stashed away. I get packing tape from USPS.com, or I get them when they're on sale. I buy stamps from the post office. I use my printer and labels from Online Labels, because Online Labels also has coupons and sales and stuff. And so when you do that, you also can get cash back on things. You can get, I know I got a code. I won't have it in the description of this video because, again, it's not sponsored, but I've given this code to family and friends when they use Online Labels, and I get a small kickback from those. And so with that, it's okay, I can use that to then invest, and I'm not spending that much money on it. And I think those are the best investments, are just doing it in small doses, but you also need to be willing to dip into your fun money. There have been many, many an instance where I wanted a new game or a CD or just to go out to eat or something when I was first starting out. And I was like, you know what? I really want to get X, Y, and Z done, but I literally can't pick both. So which would I rather do? And I rather invested into the thing for my business than going out that one time or getting that game because I could always get it another time. I wanted to get stuff when they're on sale. I wanted to do things when they're doing that in couponing. And so because of that, those are what I think are good investments. And I also think you need to be able to willing to make those choices. But those are fun choices. I am not saying, go between picking your phone bill and buying business cards, or, go between, getting your pets bedding or food over getting some, custom bubble mailers. No, I do not support that. I think that's disgusting. But, if it's oh, wow, I really wanted to go get fast food and drinks with my friends this week, but we do it every week. If I cut back this 1 week and I can invest in a thing here, I'm going to do that. That's just an example. I don't go out every week, but you know what I mean. You guys know what examples are. So that's the thing I can best say about that, is because I know a lot of people are well, food shouldn't be reward, so you shouldn't use an example. It's an easy example for me because I like getting fancy food sometimes that I don't need. And so it's one of those times where I'm like, do I really want to get some really good, spicy, delicious, like ramen and broth? It's going to cost me about $18. Or do I want to use that $18 and invest in my business? I'm going to invest in the business. That's just how I think. So now, number 11, how do you find clients? A very easy answer is social media. I've been working on this and growing my social media for years, as well as making a portfolio. But I also don't do as many freelance commissions like I used to. I now more so do like, I don't know what to call it, because I don't want to say proper freelance, because doing commissions is proper freelance, but I do it for like businesses and smaller things. I literally look on Craigslist. I look on Indeed. I talk to friends. I've joined networks. I've done things like that. And networks, I don't mean YouTube networks. I mean like Discord groups where people share things. And I've talked to things over years to where I've slowly been able to do that. But again, it also comes from you got to do the work. You got to do the looking. Because I know there are some people that have really, really, really small social media followings, but they make way more money than I do just because their networking skills are better. And they focus more on their networking skills than like social media skills. So, there's also that. And so I never want people to think that numbers mean anything, because in the grand scheme of things, numbers really don't. So in the art industry, half the time, your art talks for you, and that's how it should be. And so, yeah, that's how I find clients. And so for the last one, which is a good way to end off on, number 12. How do you manage your work hours? I don't. If you've been a fan of my vlogs or anything, you know that I have insomnia and I also have health issues. So the best thing that I can do is, instead of being like, yes, I wake up at 7 a.m. and I listen to the birds sing and I do all of my chores and I do all of this and that, I more so have stages. I wake up, I make my bed, I eat something, I like finger quote wake up even though I'm awake for about an hour or two, then I get into work. I do some warm-ups, check some emails, I do things like that before I just go right into drawing or packing orders or cutting things or yada yada yada. And then I make sure, because my therapist told me so, that I set alarms when I start doing work over warm-ups and things like that. So that way I force myself to take a break. I literally put my phone on like the loudest alarm so if I get distracted, because I also have ADHD, so I can get in a real hyper-focus mode. So I tend to do like 2-hour breaks or 4-hour breaks. And when I do my breaks, I make sure that if it's a 2-hour break, I just do a basic stretch, get up, walk around, get some water or something, maybe a snack. But if it's a 4-hour break, if I'm working for a full 4 hours, I then take a hard break for about an hour. I'll like watch some TV. I'll get away from my computer. I'll go for a walk. I'll, maybe go get a coffee or a drive or something, get some air, maybe take a shower or something like that. Something so I'm physically away from my little office and my studio, so that way I can break that mold. And then I will go back and I will work again for another, 4 to 8 hours, depending on what the schedule entails. I try my best not to push it to 8 hours anymore. By that, I mean like a 12-hour day, because if you were doing math, you would know, 4 plus 8 is 12. Anyway, but I do my best to at least do a minimum of an 8-hour work day, a maximum of a 10-hour work day, depending on like deadlines and other things I need to do, just for my own health and my own sanity reasons. And so that's the best thing I can do, because sometimes I'll have a really bad sleep schedule where I'll be waking up at 4 a.m. and I'm not going to just sit there at 4 a.m. and waste my day when I have stuff I need to do. I'll do my routine, crash when I can, and then try to fix it. Like right now, I'm in a very good place. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm waking up anywhere between like 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. and I knock out anywhere between like 10 or 12. Usually, give or take. Sometimes it's 8 if I had a really, really busy day. But I'll make sure that I can get more stuff done that way. And that's something I like to try to my best to keep a hold of, because while I am not a morning person, myself, I do get more done when I wake up in the morning. I do feel like I get more done. I can do more with my day. And then when I'm done with my day, I can go do other things I want to do. So, yeah. Wow, it's been a while since I talked that long. I've talked almost 40 minutes. I don't mind that seem like that way, but ever since I got the vid, that's the longest I've talked in like one sitting with no breaks. So, thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry if I just rapid fired through those. But like I said, if there are any questions that you want me to go more in depth on, I really could make entire videos on any of these where I could go a lot more in depth and do like more steps. Please let me know so I know what to put my time and effort into. And if not, if you're just like supporting me, thank you so much for watching and sitting all the way through. I love you so, so much. Hope you guys have a great day. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.